Hispanic. That's the other crazy part. These groups got black people, white people, Hispanic people.
How is that crazy? Wouldn't that just be accepted? Is there something, Marcus, do you believe that there is something innately different between white, black, and Hispanic people that would make it strange for them to ally on religious grounds? Why is that crazy? Why is that the strange thing? It has been a while since we've covered Marcus Rogers. Apparently, the dude is talking about witches and Satan and TikTok, which is certainly the clusterfuck of topics. But before we get into that, we do need to go ahead and look at the fan art section. I'm not giving any context. This is from Karamba, who routinely posts amazing art in the fan art section with no context. I don't believe I've ever seen a single post from them in the fan art section. They talk in other ones, but in the fan art section that has ever had any context at all. And I don't think that's ever going to change. But this Suris is a bop. It just vibing. It here to vibe. The next one we have here is from Ellen Coy Dragon. They said they tried to... God, why? Why am I yawning? Why? Oh, God, it is 4 a.m. Yeah, that's why. This is from Ellen Coy Dragon. They said they tried drawing a slime Suris. This is certainly a slime Suris, and it's very cute. Anyways, as always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future episode, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, come on, Marcus, let's see a car video. I mean, I do these for my vlog sometimes for Patreon, but let's see if Marcus Rogers content straight from the car.
I want you to take a look at this and really read it and really digest it.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and digest it and shit out the argument. From the Satanic Temple. The Satanic Temple encourages any member who is a Texas resident who seeks to perform an abortion ritual to contact us for legal assistance. I know the context as to why this happened. Let's see if Marcus can understand it.
And look at the wording that they're using. All right, they're saying this is a religious ritual, so they should have a religious exemption. That right there we could talk about all day with what's going on in the world.
Aw, look at me. I put up a scary picture of a lady on the screen. Aren't you scared, fellow Christian man? Fellow Christian conservative watching this channel, even evangelical conservative, if you will. Do you see this picture? She is obviously satanic. Very bad. You do not want to be like her.
But they're bold with this. For years we say, hey man, we're living in the end times. But if you look at this, the devil ain't even hiding no more. He don't even gotta hide. They've made it so comfortable.
Any potential way that can be found to protect the right to women's bodily autonomy is being used. And one of the ways in the United States is the method of the religious exemption. To argue that it is a religious thing to be allowed to perform an abortion, and then a religious organization that is nationally recognized comes in and tries to handle that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what the Satanic Temple is. They're not theistic Satanists. They do not believe in a literal Satan. They don't believe in your God either. In fact, most people who work for the Satanic Temple are atheists. Now, I know that Marcus would say, that just proves the point. Atheists are satanic. I just sit the fuck down, you absolute child. Sit down, educate yourself. Anton LaVey did not believe in your fucking deity. Said it's only a joke. Why are you so mad? Yep. Also, Jason Singe, thank you very much for redeeming your points for an oh. But here's the thing. This is done in retaliation, Marcus. This is done because people like you want to strip away women's rights to their bodily autonomy, their bodily integrity. In so doing, any angle that can be used for defense is being used. If you don't think that somebody should stab somebody else to death, maybe don't have them in a scenario where they have to engage in self-defense and then, do the stabbing in self-defense. Likewise, if you don't want the Satanic Temple to do shit like this, then don't force their hand into doing dumb shit. I guarantee you they will not do shit like this if you don't try to strip away bodily rights from people.
Matter of fact, look at this image right here. Look what it says. Good girls go to hell. Not even hiding anymore. We're living in the end time.
Oh my God, look, the hyperbole was used. Therefore, the end times is happening. Oh my God. Okay, so this is a thing that I've noticed, okay? Back when I was an evangelical Christian, back when I was raised in PCA, everything was used as an argument for the end times. Everything was used to argue that we are living in the darkest of days. But people were using those arguments 2,000 years ago, too. At what point is it the darkest of days? Or at what point is it just accepted that y'all need to be perpetual victims? So it must always be the darkest of days. It must be the worst of times to be a Christian on this earth. And everybody must convert now because the alternative is burning in hell.
And Christians still want to think, you know, it's this hippie Christianity. Don't make nobody mad. Don't preach a message that's going to make upset. You guys are going to see a lot of your mindsets are going to change, because the more bold they're going to get, the greater the persecution is going to become. The more that they're going to cross certain boundaries, the more, you know, I've told you guys, science is going to clash with faith eventually.
Eventually? You have not been paying attention. You have not been paying attention. Your faith and science have been clashing for a very long time. Now, they don't have to. They don't. They really don't. You can be a Christian and believe in science, just like you can believe in God and not be a conspiracy nut. You can be a Christian and not go off the fucking handle. It's not difficult. But if you are someone like Marcus, someone who needs to be a victim, somebody who needs their brand of Christianity to be the kind where they are constantly under threat. If they are not a victim, then it is like a part of their identity goes away. Faith and science do not have to fight each other, but it is usually Christians who initiate that fight, unless you're, you know, an edgelord atheist on Twitter, then you probably initiate that fight too. But typically, that fight is initiated by the Christian right in the United States. Think about the education system. How many times there's been pushes to try to teach a historic Noah's flood or the illegitimacy of evolution based on religious grounds. Those fights take place primarily in the Christian circles first and then move their way from there. And then when retaliation happens, y'all call victimhood status. Likewise, like with the example that you showed with the Satanic Temple, that is a self-defense mechanism. The Satanic Temple relied on the religious exemption because people on the Christian right tried to strip bodily autonomy away first. The amount of times that it is retaliation and self-defense against the evangelical Christian right, and yet they have to frame themselves in the middle of a car video as the victims, is astounding to me.
You know, they're gonna be like, man, faith, that don't go against the facts of science, and it's already happening now.
Yeah, duh. This is what I tried to say earlier.
We're living in the end times. The Bible talks about what? In the last days, there's gonna be all these different things happening, pestilences.
Pestilences have happened since the dawn of fucking time. Literally, ever since there have been pests, there have been pestilences.
Right? The viruses and things that we've got going around right now, and it's just...
The Spanish flu was a thing, too. The Black Plague was a thing. Viruses are a thing in reality and have been for a long time. Was it the end times when we were smallpox blanketing the natives?
Another new one, another new one, another new one. Regardless of how you feel about it.
It's been the same virus, dude. It's been mutations of COVID. What? Variants. What? It's not been another new virus repeatedly. It's been variants on the same one. Have you not been paying attention?
That the Bible says this would happen. What are we going to do, church? Casual Christians going to be casualties because you can't You can't sit there and have a weak prayer life. You can't sit there and do that bare minimum Hollywood Christianity that we've been doing in America so long.
You can actually. Per the Bible, being a Christian really only involves asking God to forgive you of your sins and then accepting him into your heart as a savior. Honestly, truly, it doesn't matter what happens on this world. It really doesn't. As long, if I were a Christian still, my position here would have to be that all that matters is that you get as many people saved as possible. The individual things they do are largely immaterial. They're literally immaterial because in that worldview, the only real places are heaven and hell. This is a liminal space. All that matters is whether or not you get saved. That is me arguing from a Christian perspective as an atheist. Now, as an atheist, my perspective is, dear God, grow up.
Go to church, hear a motivational message, hear 2 songs, go home. No, there's a war that's going on, and they're not hiding. They're not even trying to hide. They used to try to clean it up. They used to try to sneak it in. Now they're demanding. They're not trying to sneak it in. They're demanding representation. They're demanding these rights for their religion and things like that.
Yeah, because you've been trying to strip them away from people. Again, this is a self-defense thing. Maybe you don't understand that it's a self-defense thing.
And Christians, a lot of times, we're just sitting back, bowing down, being quiet while they're making demands, while they're uniting, while other groups that are anti-Christ in nature are uniting, black, white, Hispanic. That's the other crazy part. These groups got black people, white people, Hispanic people.
How is that crazy? Wouldn't that just be accepted? Is there something, Marcus, do you believe that there is something innately different between white, black, and Hispanic people that would make it strange for them to ally on religious grounds? Why is that crazy? Why is that the strange thing?
They're all uniting, coming together for their cause. Church still divided off some black-white stuff. Why? I could dive deep into that. We still teaching victim mentality. We're still...
Marcus, please, for the sake of the audience, I beg you, please say that part again. I need it. I need the irony, the unadulterated, delicious irony.
Stuff. Why? I could dive deep into that. We still teaching victim mentality. We're still holding on.
You're still doing what?
We still teaching victim mentality. We still teaching victim mentality. We're deep into that. We still teaching victim mentality. We're still.
So you're why is it? Because no, I only watched the first 10 seconds of this clip before I knew I wanted to do it. It was also submitted in my Discord, so I already knew this was good. It was the thing I wanted to talk about. Why is it that when I point out that this is literally just persecution complex, victim mentality bullshit, why is it that you then say the thing and yet somehow you don't understand that that is actually the problem? Like you claim that the church teaching victim mentality is a bad thing, but you can only bring that up in the context of a race war, of black versus white, of which I imagine would be black people having a victim mentality and needing to pull themselves up by their bootstraps better, which is horseshit. And yet somehow the irony of you needing to be the perpetual victim here when you are, and make no mistake about this, in the camp of the assailants. Why is it that you don't understand this, yet you are showing all the signs that you have the capacity to?
Still holding on to, a lot of things that happen in America, and regardless of what happened in America, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I don't teach people victim mentality. I teach them that, look, man.
Yes, you do. You did in this video. You actually taught victim mentality unironically in this video. It is a thing that you did earlier on. That is literally in this clip. You did it.
Put all your faith, put all your hope, put all your trust in God. And if you really believe, he gonna come through for you. Bottom line, can't nobody stop you.
Right. So The Christian child that cried out that the priest should not touch him inappropriately just didn't believe hard enough. God didn't come through for him. The Christian mother who wanted nothing more than for her child to survive a disease. God didn't come through for her because, well, quite frankly, she didn't believe hard enough. Really, that is how it is. See, I actually really find that type of thinking incredibly toxic. The idea that God will always come through for you if you just happen to believe hard enough. My position is that if you have that mentality, it turns everyone into a victim again, but it does so in a way where it is their fault. A bad thing happens to them. God didn't come through for them. It is the fault of their inability to believe enough. I find this mentality corrosive, mainly because I used to have it.
I don't teach people to, like, it's like we teach people to be a victim. And then from that victimhood mentality comes a lot of bitterness and resentment because, oh, it's this one and that one and this group. That's why I can't be successful. Bob said you can do all things through Christ.
Yes. No, it's literally conservative bootstrapping. You're saying that people teach black people that they can't be good because white people exist or some shit, which is not really a thing that's taught all that often in most places. If there's a church that does it, I don't know. But fucking called it.
Christ gives you strength. And then there are ugly realities that happen in this world. There is racism and things like that. And then we got another group that tries to ignore it and act like it doesn't happen. Don't show no compassion. Don't show no understanding. So we got division in the church. Whole time they're demanding. They're being bold. They're getting crazy with it. These witches are on the rise.
Not a single witch was noted. Note, at no point was a witch shown in any of this. You showed what looked to be a Photoshop or a drawing of an individual person with no ability to figure out their religion. You showed a post from the Satanic Temple, and then you showed Billie Eilish, who, from what I understand, is not a witch. And the Satanic Temple also is not a place of witchcraft. Again, they're mostly atheistic. You didn't show a damn witch.
What the church gonna do about it? What the church got to say about it?
Jack all.
If we supposed to be light in the darkness, salt of the earth, we just gonna bow down and watch? We just gonna run and be afraid and hide? I mean, I'm gonna fall on my face and I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna rise up and say what the Lord tells me to say, do what the Lord tells me to do, and I ain't gonna apologize to nobody.
Okay. And that is also one of the lovely mindsets that can get you through being an abuser. I'm not saying that Marcus Rogers is one. I have no way of knowing that. There's no way I could know that. But the idea that you're going to do everything God tells you to do, despite the fact that you can't evidence that you've heard anything from him, and you're not going to apologize for anybody. I can give you an example of how that is a corrosive and abusive mindset, because that is literally the last write-up I received when I was a McDonald's manager, was because a McDonald's employee under me lied to a manager who had the same pay grade as me but got special permission from the store manager to write me up because I apparently, according to her, cursed out that manager, but without them seeing. So I did something that didn't once affect them ever, according to them, a thing I didn't do. And the reason that they even found out about that thing that I didn't do in the first place was because this employee said that God told them. God told them that I had done it and that she needed to report it to that manager. And that manager took that and got a write-up done, and it went through because God said so. Apparently. This is a real reason I've been written up at a real fucking job. And yet, when I tried to confront that employee, despite the fact that I was her boss, She turned on me and said that the Lord told her what to do and nothing I could say could convince her otherwise. God did it, apparently. So when I hear bullshit like what Marcus Rogers is saying about how they won't apologize to anyone because God told them the right thing, I'm gonna have to ask the classic atheist question on YouTube that everybody is ridiculously tired of hearing, but because it has to do with my past, I have to ask it anyway. Where the fuck is your evidence that God told you shit? Because if you can't show it, then not a damn person should have to deal with anything you have to say that comes from that position. You spoke about victim mentality, yet you laid out how to be the perfect Christian victim. You spoke about division in the church, yet you showed your hand on what side you're on where that's concerned. And you sit here and say that you're going to never apologize for the things that you do under the banner of the Lord. And I have a ready and willing example to hand you as to why that mentality can get you in a handful of shit. I knew it'd be fun to return to Marcus. Haven't been here in a little while. But what do you think in the comment section below? I want to throw that out at you guys. Let me know. Hop down there. Go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. But let me know if you've got any stories of people using God told you to do X as an excuse for literally anything. And again, I need to reiterate, you don't have to have these kinds of corrosive mindsets. You can be a Christian and not default into these positions. It's not hard. It's as easy as recognizing that all that makes you different is apparently you're immortal and I'm going to burn. I guess. And you can be a non-shitty person in literally every other regard. We can have a conversation about if you think I deserve to be in hell later. Or we can go with the once saved, always saved thing, in which case I'll be seeing you up there, I guess. But let me know if you've got anything to say in the comment section. I want to know. And to the one person who's probably going to hop down there and say, this is your opportunity to turn back to the Lord. To you, specifically you. Your name is now Dylan. Because I've never met a Dylan who wasn't a douchebag. Thanks. Anyways, as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.